Good morning, dear students. Hope you are all doing great. Today we shall talk about pragmatics. Now do not be confused because there is a similar term pragmatic in English language. And what does pragmatic mean? Pragmatic means practical, realistic, whereas pragmatics is a branch of linguistics concerned with meaning in context or the meaning of sentences in terms of the speaker's intention in using them. So let us see what is pragmatics. Pragmatics. The term pragmatics was coined in the 1930s by psychologist and philosopher Charles Morris. Pragmatics was developed as a subfield of linguistics in the 1970s. Semantics studies the meaning conveyed by words. Pragmatics studies the meaning as conveyed by the speaker and interpreted by the listener. Semantics is the literal meaning and pragmatics is the intended meaning. One may even say that an extension of the study of semantics is pragmatics. Pragmatics deals with the contextual aspect of meaning in particular situation. So we learned that pragmatics isn't a very old field of linguistics. It was developed in the 1970s. That means almost half a century ago. So it's a latest field, you may say, subfield. We have already discussed 5 subfields of linguistics like phonetics, phonology, morphology, syntax and semantics prior to this field, pragmatics. And the term was coined by the psychologist and philosopher Charles Morris in the year 1930s, or say in that decade, in 1930s. Semantics studies the meaning conveyed by words. Now this is important here, meaning conveyed by words. What do you have in a sentence? You have words S plus V plus O. So the literal meaning which is conveyed by S plus V plus O structure is called as semantics. Pragmatics, whereas studies the meaning as conveyed by the speaker and interpreted by the listener. Whereas pragmatics is not the literal meaning. It is the meaning conveyed by the speaker. The person who is communicating, the person who is speaking. The way he presents himself, the way he wants to convey himself, that is pragmatics, and the way it is interpreted by the listener. So conveying the message and receiving the message, that is being interpreted by the listener, the way it is being interpreted by the listener, both things are important, and this is what pragmatics investigates. Semantics is the literal meaning. See, this has come. This is important. It's the literal meaning, and pragmatics is the intended meaning. Intended meaning, intended by the speaker. What the speaker intends to convey. One may even say that an extension of the study of semantics is pragmatics. Yeah, this is a kind of an extension because semantics is confined only to the literal meaning. It is only confined to the sentence structure, that is S plus V plus O plus C plus A, whereas pragmatics is the intended meaning, the contextual meaning, meaning as interpreted by the listener. Pragmatics deals with contextual aspect of meaning in particular situations. This is important. It deals with the contextual, what you gather from the context. The literal is not important. The conceptual meaning is not important here, not that significant here. What is significant? Contextual meaning is significant here in particular situations. Because you know, words carry different meanings in different situations, in different contexts. So the context is very important. Words are not spoken in a vacuum. They are spoken in a context, and hence the context is important, and whatever meaning is conveyed in that particular context is pragmatics. I hope it is fine. Okay, let's move on to, unlike semantics, which investigates the literal meaning of sentences, pragmatics considers utterances, that is, those sentences which are actually uttered by speakers of a language. Pragmatics allows us to understand the utterances beyond the literal meaning of the syntactical arrangement of words, that is, the hidden meanings of a writer and speaker. We understand the additional import of the words because we share certain contextual knowledge with the writer or the speaker of the utterances. So what do we notice here? Unlike semantics. Now, the two fields are related, semantics and pragmatics. That is why, this comparison and contrast goes on. Even you get a question in exam also, what's the difference between semantics and pragmatics? That is why we see that this comparison goes on. Unlike semantics, which investigates the literal meaning of sentences. This we already discussed, that it investigates, it examines, it studies the literal meaning of sentences, whereas pragmatics considers utterances. What are utterances? Utterances are sentences which are spoken by the speaker. Here it is explained, those sentences which are actually uttered by speakers of a language in a particular situation. Pragmatics allows us to understand the utterances beyond the literal meaning of the syntactical arrangement of words. So syntactical arrangement, again the S plus V plus O structure is not that important here. Pragmatics studies goes beyond that syntactical structure. It allows us to understand the utterances beyond the literal meaning, okay, beyond the syntactical arrangement of words. That is the hidden meanings of a writer and a speaker, because it's not concerned with the surface meaning, okay, the superficial meaning. It is concerned with the hidden meaning, the deeper meaning, the hidden meanings of a writer, whether this meaning is conveyed through writing or through speech, through utterances, you may say. So what do we notice? Pragmatics examines the hidden meanings of a writer and a speaker. We understand the additional import, extra meaning of the words because we share certain contextual knowledge with the writer or the speaker of the utterances. That's very true. Why do we understand the extra meaning or the additional import? Because we share some kind of contextual knowledge with the writer or speaker. Like suppose we are students of literature. Suppose if I am talking about King Lear and division of his kingdom among his three daughters, Goneril, Regan and Cordelia. So we understand the division of the kingdom. Okay, and we understand why is he dividing his kingdom among his three daughters. Why? Because we are students of literature. So we share this knowledge. Whereas if somebody comes and joins who is not from the field of literature and listens to our talk, wouldn't understand it. He wouldn't be able to make out what is going on. Is that fine? So we share a kind of contextual knowledge with the speaker, and if we do not share that contextual knowledge, then we don't understand. We don't understand as to what one means. Suppose two friends A and B, they go for a movie, but C couldn't come along with them because C was busy in his studies or busy with something else. Now when they come back, A and B discuss that movie. Now A, B, they share some kind of contextual knowledge with each other, whereas C wasn't there. C didn't go along with them. That is why C wouldn't be able to understand as to what they are talking. This is very obvious, and this we see in everyday situations. So what do we see here? We understand and the additional import of the words because we share certain contextual knowledge with the writer or the speaker of the utterances. Like, as we move on in a novel or in a story, so what we kind of develop a relationship with the writer or the characters. We have a peep inside their psyche. We know what is going on. So we share a kind of bond with the characters, you may say, or with the writers of the novels, or shorter story writers, or even dramatists. So the point is, contextual meaning is important, associative meaning is important in pragmatics, and not the literal meaning alone. Pragmatics focuses not on what people say, but how they say it and how others interpret their utterances in social contexts, says Geoffrey Finch in Linguistic Terms and Concepts. Utterances are literally the units of sounds we make when we communicate. But the signs that accompany those utterances give the sounds their true meaning. Therefore, the field of pragmatics helps to deal with the speaker's intended meaning. It could be said that the field of pragmatics investigates what is unsaid. So this is very important here. Pragmatics focuses not on what people say, but how they say it. Just utterances are not that important. What is important, even how he expresses himself, how a speaker expresses himself. Not only his use of words, but also how he utters his word, and how others interpret their utterances, how the utterances, his sentences, are interpreted by the listeners in social context, in a given social condition, says Geoffrey Finch in Linguistic Terms and Concepts. Utterances are literally the units of sound. Here, they're explaining what is utterances. Utterances are literally the units of sound we make when we communicate. Because, when we communicate, we make sounds. Every word has a sound. Every phoneme has a sound. So when we speak, we make sounds. But the signs that accompany those utterances give the sounds their true meaning. Mere sounds are not important. Mere words and their sounds are not important. What is important along the side? The signs that accompany those utterances, those sentences the speaker expresses, give the sounds their true meaning. The way you express yourself, okay, your tone, your gestures, your intonation, they are all important, and they all give meaning to what you're saying. They all give meaning to your utterances. Therefore, the field of pragmatics helps to deal with speaker's intended meaning. Intended meaning, again, he wants to convey what he wants, what he intends to communicate, what he plans to say through his words. How does he frame his words? How does he frame his sentences? How does he put himself? Okay, what is his tone of voice? And how is his body language? All these things are being examined in pragmatics. It could be said that the field of pragmatics investigate what is unsaid. This is important. So I would like you to underline it. Okay, I think this doesn't go well, so we may we may use another highlighter so that you should be able to see it. It could be said that the field of pragmatics investigates what is unsaid. This is very important, very beautifully expressed here. What do we notice here? Pragmatics is that field of linguistics which investigates what is unsaid. Because what is said, what is conveyed, what is expressed is being investigated by semantics, is being examined by semantics. But gestures, they are not, they aren't said through language. So whatever is unsaid means whatever is conveyed through gestures or through your tone is pragmatics. So pragmatics is beyond words. Laconically, you may say that pragmatics is beyond the words that you use in a sentence. I would like you to take this down, and because this is something very important and it's very meaningful. It could be said that the field of pragmatics investigates what is unsaid. Whatever is unsaid is taken into account by pragmatics, because whatever is said is expressed through words, and what is unsaid is expressed through your body language, through your tone, through intonation, you may say. Because when you speak, you lay stress on certain syllables and certain words. You are being emphatic. So this laying emphasis on certain points, this force, this stress, this accent is all important in pragmatics, which is not expressed through words, through the syntactic structure of sentences. Okay.